Hi, welcome to Flowering Spirit. Today, I wanted to share with you guys a 13 flower combination that I created for the first trimester of pregnancy. So, a little backstory. I'm currently 10 weeks pregnant. I created this combination. I started taking it about a month ago and really consistently for about the last 2 weeks. And prior to taking it, I was very just drained and fatigued. I had a really hard time getting up and really taking care of the things that I needed to take care of. I have other children, so it was really difficult. I was having a really difficult time. And now, since I've been taking it again consistently for the last couple of weeks, I can really tell the difference. And so, I've been able to get up, get out, and run errands and just take care of the things that I need to take care of. So I'm really excited to share with you guys. I hope the information is helpful for someone. So yeah, let's jump right in. So it's a 13 flower combination. So the first trimester of pregnancy is generally stated to begin on the first day of your last period until the end of the 12th week. So, I look at the symptoms that are commonly stated to occur during the first trimester of pregnancy. These included, but are not limited to, nausea, vomiting, frequent urination, fatigue, food aversion, breast swelling, and tenderness. So, based on the understanding that many physical ailments are associated with unaddressed emotional imbalances, some of the possible correlations between emotional states and the stated symptoms of nausea was characterized by a mental or emotional state of fear, or a state of like rejecting an idea or experience. With this, I think that it's not uncommon for some women to really reject the idea of motherhood or the entire experience of both pregnancy and motherhood, right? Like me, I'll share a little personal story. My first child was very unexpected. I had just got accepted into graduate school, and so my life took like a complete turn. So it was really hard for me to just adjust and accept it. I didn't even want children. Honestly, I didn't want children. I was about to go to graduate school. So it was a shock and just difficult. If it sounds like a fart, that's my phone. um, so I'm sorry. I said, I'm filming, so come in quietly. But then they had to reply a message. Anyways, so I had a really difficult time just really accepting it, so I can really relate to like just, upon finding out, that you're pregnant, that it could be just difficult if not everybody celebrates that, right? So moving on with the symptoms, fatigue indicates a possible state of resistance, boredom, or a general lack of love for what one is doing. Again, to me, that all makes sense. Both of these seem to really embody some of the possibilities of emotional states, whether conscious or subconscious, that could be present during the early signs or stages, early stages of pregnancy. So in creating the 13 flower combination, I took all of those possible mental and emotional causes into consideration and chose each flower that, to support this stage, first trimester of pregnancy. So let's jump right in. So number one on my list of 13 flower essences or a combination of 13 flower essences for first trimester of pregnancy is Agrimony. I just put these in alphabetical order. They aren't in any, order of importance or anything like that. So Agrimony in this combination is going to serve to assist one with really becoming aware of and articulating true emotions. The first response or reaction, as I was saying, to discovering, that one is pregnant is not always one of celebration. It can sometimes be dreadful and shocking and filled with guilt, whatever the case may be, we may suppress what we are truly feeling. So whether it's due to the inability to express it to others and, possibly ourselves, Agrimony is going to allow us to stop hiding behind the cheerful mask and be honest about what we're truly dealing with. Really truly dealing with emotionally at that time. So whether we address these emotions or not, aware of them or not, they still exist and will influence the trajectory of our experience. So agrimony, enabling of one's ability to address emotions and confrontation openly and honestly will allow for worries to diminish while cultivating a state of true peace and joyfulness. Right? Like breezing through these already. So number 2 on my list of 13 flower essences for I'm not starting this video over. 13 flower combination for the first trimester of pregnancy. Number 2 is Centaury. So in this combination, Centaury is going to assist one in putting less focus on others and more focus on the self and the child growing within. So many, as I said, I do have children, and they still need to care for, right? So Centaury will allow for mothers to lovingly care for their other children and their partners without being too sacrificing in their own needs. One will know when it is appropriate to say yes and no to the needs and demands of others. Centaury will also help calm the feelings of wanting to meet certain expectations and wanting to do everything right, follow all the rules perfectly. Centaury is going to allow one to confront these concerns with an appropriate amount of care and strengthen one's will, right? So if one tends to struggle with wavering in the decision to focus less on the needs of others and to say no when necessary, then our third flower, Cerato, will come in to support and to help support in overcoming, any indecisiveness. So that brings us to our third flower in this 13 flower essence combination for the first trimester of pregnancy, Cerato. Cerato is going to strengthen one's trust in self. When we decide to become parents, it's a huge life-changing decision. And we need to be able to trust that we're capable of making good choices and decisions, right? Our decisions always have an impact on the collective and those closest to us. But now we'll be directly influencing another human being's experience, here on this planet. So it's important that we trust our decision-making skills. So, very important. So if, decision-making skills are lacking, it's expected that with agrimony helping to identify true emotions and Centaury enabling us to focus on what we need, perhaps it will enhance an eagerness of learning to accept that true inner guidance that Cerato will facilitate. Excuse me. So, so that's going to help us with improved judgment and decision making. So Cerato is going to enable one to speak more confidently and lessen the need for confirmation from others. Cerato will assist with developing and enhancing one's intuition. So, caring for babies is actually really intuitive work. You have to intuitively and instinctively determine what your body during pregnancy needs and later, the baby's needs at any given time. So unwavering trust in ourselves and in our intuition will have and having the ability to like act on instinct and trust our gut reactions can be instrumental in case of an emergency and just, in daily life in general. But specifically at this stage, it will ease some of the worries that come up in the first trimester of pregnancy. Okay, that's Cerato. So number 4 on this 13 flower essence combination, I'm gonna get it, for first trimester of pregnancy is Chicory. So Chicory assists with one's ability to give without expecting anything in return and to authentically care for others from a place of love. I have a professor who would always say, if you want to feel unappreciated, have some children, right? So we give our lives and our bodies, and our children are really I'm sorry, I lost my place in my notes. But we give our we give our bodies for our children, and we really do sacrifice a lot to bless our partners and the world, with such a priceless gift that, you may start to feel like they should be, that they should be more grateful maybe, or that you should be receiving more attention, sympathy, thanks, or recognition than what you may really be experiencing in reality, both during and post pregnancy, right? So Chicory will allow us to know and care for our personal needs, our own, personal needs, while promoting a sense of inner fulfillment rather than looking for the fulfillment outside of ourselves, right? Learning to appreciate ourselves and our bodies without needing anybody to make us feel special, basically. Okay. So number 5 on this, in this 13 flower combination for the first trimester of pregnancy, is honeysuckle. Honeysuckle will help with any feelings of not wanting to move on in life. We may have emotional attachment to the past and experience a longing for prior conditions, which may seem more appealing at the time. It kind of makes me think of once I found out I was pregnant, my first thought was like, oh my gosh, I bought all these cute jeans that I'm really enjoying right now. It's like, I'm not gonna wear my jeans. But anyway, so we may feel as though there's nothing exciting to look forward to for at least the next 9 months, right? Honeysuckle will assist in shifting our focus from past or missed opportunities, enabling us to let go of any regrets. That makes me think of graduate school, right? Like, I was feeling really regretful for the fact that I wasn't going to be able to go. And, I even contemplated going pregnant, but it was, in a totally different city. I didn't want to be away from my family at that time. So that was a tough decision. But, so it'll enable us to let go of any regrets or, focusing on those opportunities that we feel like we may have missed out on. Therefore, we will be better equipped to fully be in the present while encouraging a full acceptance of our current life condition. Having a baby can definitely be considered as like stepping into the unknown, So we're leaving life as we know it behind. So I think it's natural for some fears of change to arise at that time. So that's honeysuckle. The 6th flower in my 13 flower essence combination for the first trimester of pregnancy is Impatiens. Impatiens is going to help lower stress levels and allow for one to be patient with the delays that pregnancy may cause in our lives, right? So Impatiens will allow us to just stop and smell the roses, right? Just slow down and enjoy the experience of creating life rather than wanting to get it done and over with. I feel we live in a very fast-paced society, and the need for instant gratification could be like a real thing. But you can't rush the phases of the moon. So Impatiens will allow us to be patient with ourselves and the slowness of creation, as well as just the frustration with anyone in our lives for, not moving at a pace that we desire for them to move at. So that's Impatiens. I'm really impatient too. So, it's like basically pregnant for a whole year. It's like let's go. Okay, so the 7th flower in my 13 flower combination for the first trimester of pregnancy is Mimulus. Mimulus addresses fears, but like ones that are more identifiable. You may know what fear is really plaguing you. So like, it does address particularly like small fears of like ordinary everyday events, which, having a baby technically is, because people deal with it, regularly. It's how we all got here, so it is a everyday part of life to an extent. In this instance, one could fear like the responsibility of motherhood, just the idea of raising a child, especially like raising a child with someone else, right? Of because we sometimes you may feel you want things your way and done your way, which Impatiens would also help with that feeling like I want things to go my way. But back to Mimulus, we could fear the actual birthing process, sharing news of an unplanned or unexpected pregnancy, the changes our bodies will go through. There are a plethora of identifiable fears that may come up in the first trimester of pregnancy. So again, with Agrimony allowing for the true exploration of our emotional state, we may be better able to identify these fears and hopefully release them and any apprehension to new experiences, so that we can experience life with greater joy. Right? So the 8th flower in my 13 flower essence combination for first trimester of pregnancy is Olive. Olive is going to assist us with exhaustion, any mental or physical fatigue. Again, in my first few weeks this time around, I was just completely drained. So I was very idle a lot of the time, which, idleness in itself can deplete our energy. And I had a really hard time getting like any necessary tasks that I had done around the house. It was just no bueno. So Olive is going to really help with boosting our energy so we don't feel like we're just running on fumes. Okay. So number 9 in my flower essence combination for the first trimester of pregnancy is Red Chestnut. So Red Chestnut combats irrational and imagined fears. So it's useful for those moments when we fear the worst will happen, we get into our heads and just start making things up. It will ease our worries and allow us to really connect with our bodies and stay in a positive state of well-being, security, and just courageousness. Red Chestnut will draw us within to be present with, the life that's growing inside of us, rather than in our heads creating all these false realities. What do they say? Fear, it's a false evidence appearing real, right? I've heard it in different ways too, but I like that one. Okay, so then that's Mimulus. That was the number 9. And so number 10, we are breezing through these. This will probably be the shortest video I ever made. So number 10 in my 13 flower essence combination for the first trimester of pregnancy is Rock Rose. We got a lot of fear flower essences that address fear in here, because if you remember when I discussed the symptoms, most of the 2 main ones for nausea and fatigue, that they had a lot to do with like fear and just not really accepting our condition. So rock water is going to allow one to, did I say it was rock water? I'm sorry, number 10. Rock water is number 11. We're on number 10, rock rose. So it helps curb imagined fear. So it will further facilitate red chestnut by turning panic into courage and allowing us to trust in the inner guidance that we are now becoming more attuned to, right? Thanks to Cerato. And so now we can move on to rock water, which was number 11 in this 13 flower combination for the first trimester of pregnancy. So rock water is going to allow us to be more flexible in life. It's great for those that, put too much pressure on ourselves and, we expect ourselves to be the best or perfect at something. A characteristic, I think is pretty inherent to being like a purposeful parent. You want to, be good at it. I mean, who doesn't, right? So rock water will enable us to put our body's messages before our ideals or theories or our regiments, right? With Centaury enabling us to just focus on not just focus, we need to focus on, like I said, we may have other children or partners, but it will enable us to focus on our needs with Centaury doing that for us, right? It's helping us focus more on our own needs and not just the needs of others. We may become more apt to release some of the control and be more flexible in our day-to-day lives, again, allowing for some of the fears we may be dealing with to just further diminish, right? Okay, so the 12th flower in my 13 flower essence combination for the first trimester of pregnancy is walnut. So walnut is great for transformation. It supports big life changes as well as so it will support these shifts that our bodies will experience during pregnancy, the physical changes. Walnut will also help us to not be overly influenced by social expectations or values placed on us by our families or communities. We will be able to release past experiences or beliefs that inhibit our evolution and create new experiences and beliefs that will better serve us and allow us to become, just the parents that we want rather than just following the status quo. So, I would say just because something has always been done one way or because we were raised a particular way doesn't always mean it was the best way. So with rock water allowing us to become more flexible, we may be open to new possibilities and therefore have the strength to follow our own parenting paths, which is like something that was very important to me and that I like to think I've been pretty successful at. Okay, so my last flower essence in my 13 flower essence combination. I am gonna get this. The 13th flower in my 13 flower combination for the first trimester of pregnancy is water violet. So water violet will help counter any resistance we may have to connecting with others and that we may better connect with the growing baby, with our growing baby. And just allow us to be able to reach out to others if we need help. I know that can be, I have a hard time with that. I don't know if everybody does, but I could have one kid screaming for something else, trying to help this one, and it just takes a lot for me to say, can you help me for whatever reason? I guess that's something I need to address, right, within myself. But I'm taking water violet now. So I may not have that issue for much longer. So it's going to help us to be able to ask for help when it's needed so that we may feel just more supported, right, through this process. Water violet is also going to help with, we may begin to feel isolated from close friends and family or maybe even on our own, just wish to withdraw for whatever reason. Water violet will enable us to keep a tactful distance so that we can take the space or the time to ourselves that's needed, but still, you know, I'm sorry, but still allow us to feel in unison with others, right? It'll help us not to feel lonely, and allow us to be able to balance our social connections to others. Um, when we aren't able to really participate in the same things that we were, once accustomed to. Some people may drink and now they're unable to do that, or unable to wear your cute jeans out to social events. No, but yeah, it's just gonna help us feel connected to people while also allowing us to disconnect when necessary and take the time that we need for ourselves. So that is it. That is my 13 flower combination. Again, I've been taking it and I've feeling the difference and feeling like it's very helpful. Um, I did have fears, even though it's not my first child. There were things that I just felt, just apprehensive about. I did plan this pregnancy kind of in secret, I guess, from friends and family. And, after having kids already and just wanting to be, or at least, in my mind or my fantasy, planning maybe a different situation with my relationship, I felt a little, I felt fears about sharing that a little. And so I feel that, that played a major role in the way that I was feeling early on. And I think the combination has really helped a lot. And so that's why I wanted to get on here and share that. I didn't mention this in the beginning, but at this time, I strictly use batch flower essences or batch flower remedies. And so that's where all 13 come from. And, I love them. I love to mix them up and create different combinations. So I can't wait to come back and share the second trimester with you guys. I think my next video is going to be on a bath that I created, a cleansing, energizing bath. And so I look forward to that. I'd love to know what you guys think. Did any of these flowers resonate? Have you ever used any of them? Would you use this combination? Would you try it? Yeah, let me know in the comments. I look forward to hearing from you. Again, I hope that this was helpful, and I will see you soon.